I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on the Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Oh, it's a really happy Bendy here on a Tuesday morning.
Lasers.
Yeah, we got to figure out the lasers.
Yeah,
I don't know if that, maybe that just when Parker went away, maybe lasers go away. Sort of like how I believe that The Price is Right should have ended with Bob Barker, but
100% it should have ended with Bob Barker. That's a completely true statement. I just don't know what to put in instead of lasers because I do like having something.
Yes.
And if I miss Parker for anything, it's the lasers.
It's the lasers. Yes, exactly. So Parker, hopefully you're happy where you are, but at least teach us how to do lasers or something.
It went like that. That's all I know. But
That's
he
all
also had a computer that allowed for that to happen.
There you go. I think that's the answer there. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That's Greg Bergman. We're going to talk about more than just lasers today. Great night for Dodger pitching, specifically Justin Wrobo, who absolutely dealt against the New York Mets last night as the Dodgers go on to a 4-0 victory and improve their record to a league best 12-4. We will get into that and plenty more in the show today. But first, want to let you know, as always, that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. So, Greg, obviously the story last night, Justin Wrobo, 8 innings of basically just flawless baseball from him. Gave up a couple of hits, started to kind of wobble near the end, but otherwise, I mean, it was just an amazing night for Wrobo.
Oh, it was a fantastic night for Wrobo. And, I'm doing these TikTok videos afterwards. It's at Greg Bergman. I just don't know what the actual tag is. But, so I was going in throughout most of the game. I was like, okay, thinking about what I'm going to say because they were winning. And it was about, okay, I'm going to talk about Andy Pajes. And let's just talk about Andy Pajes and a whole bunch of things that we'll get to later. And then I was like, as Wrobo kept going, I was like, no, it might have to start with Wrobo because everything that he was doing, he had, I think, 4 innings in a row with under 10 pitches.
Yeah.
He was so efficient. It was incredible to see because it wasn't he was the anti-rookie. I don't know if you said that in the group chat or
Jeff Spiegel. Yeah.
He was the anti-rookie. He was attacking the zone, inducing soft contacts, getting some hard contact too, but that hard contact was on the ground and right at guys in the infield. He wasn't letting anything out of the infield. Until Alvarez hit that single in the 8th inning. I thought that the other one was just the one from Polanco was just a little teeny tiny dribbler that just happened to get through. I thought he was going to get robbed of a no hitter because of that, but then Alvarez comes through with a real base hit. Wrobo was fantastic the entire time. I just loved how he was attacking the zone, and he does it with 2 pitches, Marcus, which is crazy. It's a fastball and a slider, and that's it. That's it. That's all he's got.
Well, and I think it was really a study in how, sure, missing bats is great and getting whiffs are great, but missing barrels is maybe as or even more effective, mostly because if you're doing it well, like he did last night, you're keeping your pitch count down. I mean, he was incredibly economical. Now, look, some of that had to do with the Mets offensively are on the struggle bus right now. They don't have Juan Soto, but nonetheless, I mean, all credit to Wrobo for just really tying their hands last night, not giving them anything good to hit. As you mentioned, when they made decent contact, it seemed to be right at somebody most of the time. This was just incredibly efficient for a guy who essentially is the 6th starter right now. I mean, he came in when they started to go to the 6-man rotation after the first couple of weeks of the season. Look, it's 2 starts, right? The first one was kind of, this one was excellent. But, man, this was as strong a case for him to stay in the rotation as anything we've seen this year.
So we say that the last one was kind of meh. I mean, just because of his walks. He walked a lot of guys, but he was doing the same thing. He wasn't striking out guys, but he was getting outs. and he was getting that same kind of contact that was on the ground. In those 2 starts, he's only given up 3 hits.
Wow.
3 total hits. If he only gave up 2 in the last game, if you do the math correctly, the game against Toronto, he gave up 1. So, the guy he is doing exactly what you were talking about at the beginning. He's missing bats. And it also, you say that the Mets are on the struggle bus for sure, but it's not just because Juan Soto is not there. I mean, that's a really big piece to all this. But at the same time, if you take out Shohei, this lineup still goes. And I know most teams don't compare to the Dodgers, but the fact is they do. They do compare. They have they actually have the highest payroll in baseball.
Yeah.
And this is the team that missed the playoffs last year. So imagine with Juan Soto this year, if they miss the playoffs again and this happens, all those, there's going to be massive, massive changes. And it also proves to everybody out there, but that just because you spend a whole lot of money, that doesn't mean that you're coming through with wins.
Yeah, they're going to be my new example for this. If they don't win, if they don't make the playoffs again, they're going because for years I would hold up the Angels as that, right? Like the Angels spent money, they didn't spend it well, and they got nothing out of it. The Mets could really end up being sort of the new example of that if they can't figure it out. I'm looking at their recent game logs, and they got swept over the weekend by the A's. They were shut out in 2 of those 3 games, and then you throw in the shutout last night. So they have not scored a run in 3 of their last 4 games. The one game they did, they picked up 6 runs. So the offense has not been great, but Wroblewski had a lot to do with that last night, and was just absolutely fantastic. I don't know, anything else to add on Wrobo?
A little bit. I thought that just everything that Wrobo is doing, to be a guy that you mentioned, he was the 6th starter. And then you see what is going on. He's somebody that's trying to stay in the rotation just in general. And when Blake Snell comes back, they're not going to go to a 7-man rotation.
Right.
What's going to happen? I can't imagine they send Roki down. I can't imagine they send Sheehan down. So, do you just pull Wroblewski out of the rotation at that point? I mean, because if he continues pitching the way that he is, I mean, he's somebody that can move back and forth between being a starter and reliever. But I don't know. I don't always believe in that whole moving between the two. It didn't work so well with Ben Kasparius last year, who, by the way, just got moved to the IL. And Kyle Bergman. But what do you think they do there? Because if Wroblewski continues this way and is continuing to miss, to get these soft contact, miss barrels, I guess is better than saying missing bats, miss barrels, how do you take him out of the rotation? He went 8 innings. He could have gone 9. He was so efficient that he only had 90 pitches through 8 innings. And that was just because he got a little bit tired on the 3rd batter in the 8th inning. He got the first 2 in 6 pitches and then had a little bit of struggle and gave up a hit to Alvarez and then had to do a little bit of work. But otherwise, he would have been out much sooner.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing we talked about in the chat. Do you give him the chance to start the 9th? And, we certainly weren't opposed to the idea. Dave Roberts decided that was enough. Pull the plug at 90 pitches. Tanner Scott comes in and closes it out. My thought is that he ends up going back to the bullpen and that he is sort of going to be. Last night, Eric Karros on the broadcast called him a Swiss Army knife. And I thought that was sort of fitting for what he did last year, where he was out of the bullpen. He was a starter when they needed him to be. They sort of kind of moved him around. And you appreciate having a guy like that, but you understand that player's desire to just, have a role, have a consistent role, especially if it's in the rotation. Again, it's 2 starts, but he has certainly made a strong case to stay in the rotation. But I think to your point, Roki's not going anywhere anytime soon. We know Snell's going to be back in there. Sheehan looked really good over the weekend against was it against the Rangers? No. Yeah, against the Rangers. Yeah. So he looked really good over the weekend. It feels like because of the numbers game, Wroblewski is kind of the odd man out here. But it's nothing that he did wrong. It's just the numbers seem to be kind of working against him at this point. So,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
know.
mean, I agree with you. I think it's probably what most likely to happen unless there's somebody that goes on a phantom IL. But it's nice to have another guy to fit into this rotation. If somebody, because other people are going to go down, other guys, Glass now is going to take some time on the IL. I would hope that Shohei doesn't, but Yamamoto didn't last year, but who knows? So I think he's always going to have a space. And by the way, they still have River Ryan just chilling, waiting in line, just whenever they're ready to bring him up.
Yeah, by the way, I mean, the other thing, and I don't know that this is a thing you look forward to, but if things continue as they are, Wroblewski could end up just being sort of the piggyback with Roki
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future. So we'll sort of see how that goes. The other big thing from last night, Andy Pages, stay hot. Andy Pages. Are we officially giving him the nickname Andrew Library? Or is that what we're doing?
I mean, I'm full. We can. I think this is an open forum and it's a discussion, and so everybody in the chat, you can join in on this as well. Anthony Vitrato in our group chat continues to call Andy Pages Andrew Library.
Yeah,
and I love it. I don't know why. I think it's funny. I think it totally works. And if you're all good with Andrew Library, I'm ready to adopt it. Are you ready to adopt it, Marcus?
We can do Andrew Library if we want to be, if we want to be more culturally appropriate. He can be Andrew Biblioteca. I mean, we can do that, but I'm here for it, man, because it's been a lot of pages so far this season. Leads Major League Baseball in hits and RBIs.
Batting average too, I'd assume.
Batting average, I believe. Yeah. So this morning, I'm on Dodgers.com, just catching, make sure I have the box scores and everything. And one of the headlines says a Dodger leads MLB in hits and RBIs, but not the one you think. Now, obviously, we watch this team every night, and I was like, it's not Andy Pages, and I clicked the link, and it's Andy Pages.
Right. We watch every night, so
yeah. There's so far the response in the chat is mixed. JJ Reddit's calling him MV Pages, like MVP Pages.
MV Pages, yeah, but that's not going to last. It's going to be MV Shohei.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's going to sort of fade.
He's the novel real page turner for
page turner. Roy Estrada. Meaning of Andrew Library. It's just been a lot of pages. Just a lot of pages so far this year. And that's what it is. Simply Brandy, just a straight up no. Just a straight up thumbs down on it.
She likes AP 44, which I mean it rolls. It's kind of like simple, like AD all day for Adrian Peterson, but
yeah. And then Roy Estrada says the Cuban Missile.
I don't know about that one. I don't know. Is that I'm always really wary of some of those things. If
right.
If he's okay with that one, I feel like with missiles, I don't know. Just seems,
but
especially with what's happening around the world, feels like it's not the greatest. I don't know.
We'll continue workshopping. It seems to be a mixed bag so far.
Keep going. Keep throwing them out there. Andrew Biblioteca, Andrew Library, whatever you want to do.
Well, either way, the dude is still absolutely on fire. It's wild because, look, I have a level of confidence with pretty much everybody in the lineup. But, man, when Pages comes to the plate, especially with guys on base or runners in scoring position, I'm as confident as having anybody up there right now with the way he's hitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's up. I feel good. And he now has 20 RBIs on the season. That's leading Major League Baseball, like you said. But it's in 16 games. So whenever you have more RBIs than games played, I think you're in a pretty good space of what you're doing. And it could have been more, too. So I think it was the third inning when he came up with the bases loaded.
Yeah,
he had a hot shot to right, and it just went foul. But it was a beautifully hit ball. It just happened to land foul. Otherwise, he was bringing all three back in, so he could have been much, much, much higher and gotten rid of that lead at 1-0. Much was it the first inning because it was because Shohei. I don't remember what it was. Whatever it was, he could have had a much bigger game. But yeah, whenever he's at the plate, I feel great. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, here comes Andy. He's going to do something.
Yep.
Because you are comfortable. And I read a story yesterday about kind of why this is all happening. I don't know if you saw this one. I know Bill Plunkett had it out, and I think others did too, that in the off season, he spent 30 minutes to an hour every single game on the project, on the virtual
Okay.
players. So it's like a screen, and it mimics whoever you want it to mimic. He's
Right.
an hour, a half hour to an hour on it every single day. And he used Paul Skeens, over and over and over again because he wanted to see as much movement as possible on the pitches. And so he just kept going after Paul Skeens. And because of that, he was able to see movement better with other hitters, and it's led to this hot start. Now, obviously, he's going to go through some ups and downs, but the fact is, like, he was working all offseason to be the guy that he is right now, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see the results from all the work he put in, and you see it in his approach at the plate. The fact that he battles now, and every once in a while he might chase, but there's a lot less of that this year than what we saw in past years. And even when he gets 2 strikes, he's gotten so much tougher to get out with 2 strikes. He's going to foul pitches off. He's going to take some tough pitches. I mean, we've seen him have at bats where he works walks, and that seemed unthinkable last year. I mean, it was ask Emmanuel Clase. It's hard to walk Andy Pages. Right?
He was trying to get it.
He was trying to throw the ball out of the zone, and Pages was swinging at it anyway. You didn't think Emmanuel Clase was going to make it to the show?
No, I didn't. I was not. That's not on my bingo card this morning.
So yeah, it's really great to see the results sort of pay off for Andy Pages. He's been fantastic. I know it's only April, but certainly right now he is very much on track to be an all-star this year after just narrowly missing out on it last year. So that would be a really great reward for him if he's able to do that. Rest of the lineup still sort of in a funk.
Yeah.
Shohei kept the on-base streak going in the most painful way possible, taking one off the shoulder to start the game last night, but he was an 0 for last night. Freddie Freeman, I don't know what else to say about him, Greg, other than he just seems to be going through some really bad luck. He seems to be hitting the ball hard. He's making good contact. It just seems to be right at people. I know this is going to shake itself out, right? Freeman's going to hit more. Tucker's going to start to hit, but it just, the top of the lineup's holding this team back. We need the guys at the bottom to kind of keep things going, right?
To that point, I mean, and by the way, even though he's had that such bad luck that you're talking about, Freddie Freeman had 2 hits last night, so he still got on. Despite the fact the way it looked, he still had 2 hits, and the bottom of the lineup has been fantastic. They're the best bottom of the lineup in baseball. Mickey Rowe had 3 hits last night.
Yeah.
Of all the guys, Mickey Rowe is coming through. He had a great defensive play where he saved Justin Wroblewski from his first hit, where he just dove and grabbed the ball. That was a streamer right up the middle. Got it to first. Was fantastic, especially even at his age, pretty crazy. But the bottom line, really good. And then you mentioned Tucker, another strikeout. He did walk twice, but you could see it on his face. Like, he struck out late in the game, and you could see him shaking his head like, I just don't know what else to do. He's going through it right now. Just doesn't know when to swing it out because they're attacking him at least. They're throwing first pitch strikes at him, and he's just not connecting right now.
And that's the thing it's going to continue all year, just because he will walk. He will take the base on balls, and whoever is going to be hitting behind him right now, it's Will Smith. It's at some point going to be Mookie Betts again. If they decide they want to put Freddie Freeman in the 3 spot, there's going to be somebody hitting behind him that teams are not going to want to pitch to whoever that guy is with somebody on base. So the opportunity to get good pitches is going to be there all season long. And, I get it. He's in a bad spot right now. He's going to work out of it. He's too good. He's been too good for too long to not think otherwise. It's just, I'm with you. You can see it on his face. You can see the pressure. You can see him wanting to, be the guy to contribute a little bit, and it's not quite happening for him yet. The only thing I can think is maybe he needs a hug. Maybe he needs a hug from Dave Roberts. Dave has not given out a hug that I'm aware of yet this season. Maybe that's all it takes. We saw the hug work for Andy Pages. It worked for who's the pitcher
Who
that
is the pitcher? I don't remember his name of it currently, but he became a great pitcher the rest of the season.
right after he got a hug.
Yeah,
So maybe
for a little
they,
bit.
I don't know if that's how Kyle Tucker operates. Not everybody, wants a hug from the manager, but maybe that's just what he needs to.
I mean, do you want to, if his hugs have power, right? Do you want him to be using his hug power through 16 games of the season?
Yeah, it's a little early.
We kind of think about it like, okay, it's only April 14th. It's only been 16 games. Let's kind of let this play out. He probably needs how many at bats? 100, 150, 200 at bats before we start thinking like, okay,
something's wrong.
We gave Conforto 400.
Right.
So, I mean, let's give there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
The hug is powerful, but
It
he has
is.
to use that power for good. Just like my villain. I can't use it just on anybody this early. I have to use it for good to be able to switch somebody around. And it's not time yet. So I don't time for the hug just yet.
Johan Ramirez,
that's right.
That got the hug. You mentioned Conforto. Cesar Nunez in the chat says we endured Conforto. We can endure the Tucker struggles. The Conforto thing was weird because it felt like they kept trying to get him out of the lineup, and for whatever guys would get hurt or just for whatever reason they could never completely put Conforto on the bench. Even though I'm sure at some point they're like, we just can't play this guy. He just kept sticking in the lineup
because he would have a game that he was like, oh, okay, there was a couple hits. Well, maybe he's turning it around, and there's injuries, so we have to keep doing it. But I also saw Bubba Holmberg says maybe an ovation from the crowd that worked for Mookie, worked for who was it? It was Trey Turner that really worked for him. Dodger Dog says Tucker looks like he hasn't bought in, sits alone on the bench. See, I think that's interesting because that was kind of the conversation around Kyle Tucker before he got here. It's like, how is he in Doug Tracker? That's amazing, Carlo. It was how he is in the clubhouse, how he is in the dugout, and whether or not he's good for those situations. And there was some mixed reports on that about whether or not he is good fit for this situation. And everybody thought, okay, he's coming into here. He doesn't have to do much of anything. He just has to hit behind Shohei. Now, I think we'll see more about those stories, and I'm not jumping to that conclusion yet, but that was something that was out there before the Dodgers signed him.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple ways to sort of think about that. I mean, one of the things that's been great about this version of the Dodgers over the last 5+ years has been they have found a way to bring everybody in, right? That here they are, this collection of stars. You've got guys with MVP awards, guys with Cy Young awards, and this group really has been close knit. That the fact that Shohei Ohtani was kind of the most mysterious superstar in baseball for all those years in Anaheim has come in and really has become kind of a focal point in terms of just the way people gravitate toward him and the way he interacts with other people. So I still want to believe that is possible with Kyle Tucker. The other part is, maybe he's sitting alone just because he feels bad. Like, maybe it's just him sort of struggling and not really knowing how to deal with it and sort of separating. Maybe it's just him being in his own head a little bit. Through 16 games, like you said, it's hard to pass final judgment on it. But I think part of coming to this team now and seeing how they've won in recent years, I think part of that is sort of understanding that you can't really be an island in this clubhouse, that you're going to have to sort of assimilate with everybody. And sometimes I feel like that's a bad word, but it's just, becoming part of this group, because that's why they've been part of why they've been successful is, they actually like each other.
yeah, very, very well could. There's a couple things in here before we go that I want to get to, because Simply Brandy says maybe they should flip Tucker and Freeman in the lineup, and Easy says bat Pages second, ride the hot bat. I think both those things are interesting. I don't think the Dodgers are, and I don't think anybody should be ready to flip this lineup. I also really like, I don't know how you feel, Marcus, but I really like Pages in the 6th spot because it just lengthens your lineup. Because if somebody gets on ahead of him, if you get all those top guys on ahead of him, you want Pages there to be cleaning that up and be able to get those pitches, because once you have all those guys at the top that you have to be so careful with, they almost feel like, okay, we can kind of breathe a little bit because we're getting towards the bottom, and Pages is not letting them breathe. And that's raising the pitch count, doing a lot of things. And so I don't think any type of flip in the lineup is cause for anything yet.
Yeah, not yet. But also, Pages is sort of playing the role that Max Muncy did for years in that sixth spot, just to kind of lengthen the lineup and almost flip it over again. So, no, it's great. I think you leave him where he is. I think you give Tucker an opportunity to sort of work things out in the 2 spot. Here's the thing: they're 12-4. They're everything is. I get it. We nitpick, but everything is going really well for this group right now. So, by the way, guys, before we get out of here, real quick, Greg and I were kicking around some ideas. What is it that you guys want to hear or see from us on the show? Any topics that we're not hitting consistently that you'd like us to talk about? We got obviously more mailbags and get you guys more involved. But if you have any ideas, certainly you're welcome to, in future shows, leave them in the chat or hit us up on social media and just kind of give us some thoughts on what it is you want to see and hear on the Blue Review, because this is your show as much as it is our show as well. So always open to suggestions from you guys, especially because you guys are willing to get up early in the morning and hang out with us.
Exactly. We want to make it as best as possible. So whatever, if you think that you want to see more mailbags, you want to talk more for the chat, you want to do different things, let us know. We will we will do as much as possible to keep you guys entertained. We'll
work on lasers, Ruben. We'll text Parker and we'll see how we can make lasers happen. We'll figure that out as well. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review. Thanks to you in the chat. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance as well. Stick around. Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming right at you. Back here tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55. Yama on the hill tonight against the Mets. We will see you tomorrow. See you, everybody.
See you.